Hi everyone. I'm just trying to adjust my... Okay, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure you can all see me. So hello everyone, and hello from my side after a very long time. I don't know when the last time I think I did a very quick live chat when I'd moved into my new place, but then ever since then I have not done much. But as you may have seen that, yes, I've been posting more often on my profile, but I know the chat hasn't happened for a long time, so here I am, just getting back into the whole swing of things of chatting and talking. And thank you everyone who are joining in. I'm grateful that you are. I do understand that it is Thursday evening, afternoon, and at least here in UK, many of you probably are thinking of going out, meeting friends. But if you've taken time to stay at home and watch me talk, I'm ever so grateful for that. Anyway, so if you remember, my topic for today's chat was all things Ayurvedic. That is what I thought I would talk about. And of course, I also put it down as a Q&A session. So if anyone has got any questions in terms of Ayurveda or anything about it, please do feel free to ask. But then from the point of view of all things Ayurvedic, I thought that I would stick to the very basics of Ayurveda. And now when I say basics, do bear in mind, I don't even mean Vata, Pitta, Kapha, doshas, or body types, or your digestive fire, or eating hot food and hot drinks and stuff like that. Nothing of that kind. Literally understanding what Ayurveda as a science is. I do understand that probably everyone who is watching me or listening to me at the moment, you all know about Ayurveda, and when you know something, we assume that yes, the whole world may know about it. But even now here in London, which is a cosmopolitan, metropolitan, like a world city, sometimes when I go out into London and meet up with people, and when I say, oh yes, I practice Ayurveda, they are always surprised. They are like, are you what? I'm sorry, I've never heard of this science. So even in today's very advanced age, where you would have thought that everyone will know about all types of holistic sciences, just not holistic sciences, but many other technological developments or ancient sciences, it is amazing to see as to how many people still have not heard of the word Ayurveda. The other day I posted something on line, and I don't know who commented on it, but then this person said, this word is very foreign to me, and this person I think lives in America, New York or something, and she said that this word is very foreign to me. I keep coming across this word all the time, but I really don't know what it means. And she left a lot of laughing emojis, and I know she meant that it is so silly that we are living in this world of internet, online, web kind of presence, and yet I don't know what Ayurveda is. So now I know that a few of my students have also joined. So if you were to ever come across people asking what is Ayurveda, please be patient and understand that there are many out there who don't know about it. So I thought that I would just literally basically go through the most basics of what Ayurveda is. Literally, if someone were to ask you, oh, so what is Ayurveda? Or even for yourself, I know many people end up talking about, oh yes, it is a science of life. But even if you were to say that, for someone it may not make sense because it sounds too philosophical, it sounds too intellectual. And if you were to start talking about, oh yes, Ayurveda is Vata, Pitta, Kapha, body types, and there are 5 elements, and we get to know what your basic body type is, your today's constitution. Sometimes all these pieces of information can be a bit, can't say confusing, but yes, a bit too much for someone. So let's say if someone came and asked me, who's never heard about Ayurveda, and asked me, so what is Ayurveda? This is what I would say. Yes, of course, Ayurveda is an ancient holistic system from India, but it is not necessarily purely an Indian system of medicine. It is much more global. And as you all know, it exists everywhere. So when you look into the word itself, Ayurveda, as we know, science of life. And because we have said science of life, I remember my mom would always tell me, don't make it complicated, keep it to as simple as possible. So that is what you need to understand, as to, keeping it as simple as possible. So from that point of view, do bear in mind, we live life only once. And one of the aims of Ayurveda, yes, is to enjoy life. So when we say enjoy life, also to bear in mind that I know sometimes you have lots of Ayurvedic practitioners, consultants, if you were to go to them, they will restrict your Ayurvedic lifestyle so much, then sometimes as clients for yourself, you will think, oh my God, I can't follow all of this. I'd rather go back to living a normal lifestyle. So that is not what Ayurveda is. It's not about following every rule, every kind of protocol that someone talks about, because Ayurveda, science of life, first of all, is all about enjoying life itself. I've just seen someone ask a question, can you recommend a good comprehensive book on Ayurvedic medicine? Now, it depends on if you're looking to practice Ayurveda as an Ayurvedic consultant or a practitioner, or is it just for you to read? If it is just for you to read as basics, I know I've been talking about it for many years, but yes, I'm almost finished with getting my book out, which is going to be very comprehensive, very basic. Literally, the concept of my book is Practical Ayurveda for Everyday Life and Back to Basics. That is what it will be called. So, but if you're looking, if you are an Ayurvedic consultant, then there are many textbooks out there that will help in terms of Ayurvedic practice. But if you are new to it, then I would suggest just wait a bit and my book will come out, and then I'm hoping that you will enjoy reading my book too. Anyway, so yes, coming back to Ayurveda. So yes, first of all, enjoying life. So if you have pen and paper, write it down, because unless you don't enjoy the various protocols or suggestions that we give in Ayurveda, you're not enjoying life itself. So enjoy. And having said that, I remember my mum, the one thing that she always put it in our minds was, we live life only once, meaning every moment that is going by will never come back. So we need to make the best of it in a moderate way, meaning not to extremes, but enjoying every moment. So that is so important. And I remember her also telling us as we were growing up that the biggest disappointment a person will ever have in life is regretting something that they could have done, should have done, and now so much time has passed by and they have not gotten around to it at all. So I do have a few clients where I do tell them, in fact, at the moment I'm running a 1 month weight loss with Ayurveda and yoga. So I'm running that program at the moment, and I did tell them in that program that, it is only 4 weeks of your whole life, if you want to call it. So put the best effort that you can now, because once these 4 weeks go by, you are in a group at the moment. The kind of help and support that you will get through this group, you will never get it, especially when someone is looking to lose weight. So something like that, so if there is something in your life that you really want to do, make sure that you have done it, so that you will not look back in your life and say, you know what, I feel so disappointed because there is this regret that I did not do it. So that is also what Ayurveda is. It's all about making sure that you've ticked all those happy boxes that you would have wanted to do. So it could be, I know, because I'm an Ayurveda and yoga and Vastu and Jyotish person, so maybe studying Ayurveda, studying yoga, or going for, I'm just going to put all things Vedic, traveling to Rishikesh or traveling to the foothills of Himalayas, whatever that it is, you do not want to look back and regret that you did not do it. So we live life only once, and make sure that you've done all of that too. And that is also what Ayurveda is all about. Okay, so those were the two kind of philosophical concepts of Ayurveda and understanding what it is. Now coming back to the science itself. Now when people do look into Ayurveda and ask what it is, yes, it is a natural science. From where I come from, we believe that Ayurveda as a science, science of life, it is around us. And hence, whoever we are, whatever we are nowadays, we are nothing but a result of those influences around us. So whatever is happening out there, that reflects into me, and I react accordingly. And that is what Ayurveda is. So you will see that if you live in a happy environment, you will be happy, because the environment is happy and you feel happy, you feel satisfied, you feel, yes, I've achieved things in life. But if that environment, and I just don't mean family, it can even be a society, it can be in the block of apartments that you live. If that environment is not kind of conducive to your way of thinking and living, or if there is chaos, there is noise, there is confusion, that still affects you, and then you are a reflection of that environment. So other bit to bear in mind, what is Ayurveda? Ayurveda is nothing but you as a reflection of what is happening around you. So if you want to change the way you feel and how things are, then try and see how you can change the environment around you, or the other way around, until and unless you don't change, the environment won't change. It is both ways. So another important one is Ayurveda is nothing but a result of things around you which are happening in you, and hence you are the reaction of that, or your reactions are Ayurvedic from that point of view. So other thing also to bear in mind in Ayurveda, this is what has been said, that I know that we say Ayurveda is from India. I do agree, but do bear in mind, it is not the India that we see today is what India was thousands of years ago. You will see that nowadays we have countries, but many years ago we used to have kingdoms. There were no political boundaries. There were more kingdom related, like boundaries, or kind of places where people lived. So once upon a time, what India used to be is not what it is at the moment. So many thousands of years ago, India kind of existed from, be it Thailand, be it even Indonesia, up to that point, going more towards the west side, to the Middle Eastern side, or even further up, or even if you were to travel up north, so India as kingdoms or continent or land, desha is what we call, existed in a very wider environment. And therefore you would see that we do say in Ayurveda that everything that you see out there has got Ayurvedic effects and Ayurvedic properties and Ayurvedic benefits. So I live here in London. I've been living here for 19-20 years now, but I was born and brought up in India. I moved out of India when I was 28 or 29 years old, so many eons ago. I've been out of India for almost 20 years now. So, like half a century that I've lived, half of it almost I lived in India, and the rest of it over here. But anyway, so the reason why I say that is because now that I live here, I do get a lot of clients from varied backgrounds who come to me for Ayurvedic consultations. And if I were to be sticking to that thing, oh yes, Ayurveda is purely Indian, I would not have been able to practice Ayurveda where I live, which is so much far away from India is. The reason why I know Ayurveda works, because as the word goes, science of life. That is what the word Ayurveda means, meaning wherever there is life or wherever life exists, Ayurveda as a science exists everywhere. So it just isn't in India, it is out here in UK, it is out there in America, it's there in Brazil, Arctic, Antarctic, you name it, or even outside Earth as a planet. Ayurveda exists everywhere. But what Ayurveda also says is that, yes, everything around us is Ayurvedic, but we also have to bear in mind and be sensible as to how we take those elements and points around us and make it Ayurvedic for our own benefit. That bit is also very important. So the reason why I say that when we look around, everything is Ayurvedic. In fact, today I was recording a teaching session for the Ayurvedic coach program, and in that I mentioned, there's nothing wrong with coffee. There is nothing wrong with having certain types of meat. There is nothing wrong with foods itself. There is nothing wrong with like lifestyles where you live, but understanding as to how those foods or lifestyles can be adapted to the environment, region, country, or geography that you live in. And that is how you can make anything Ayurvedic. Someone has written saying your lectures have changed our family's life. I cannot thank you enough. So excited to always learn from you. That's very kind. Thank you very much. That has put a very big smile on my face. I'm going to put my hands together and say thank you for that. So thanks a lot. And as you can see, yes, I'm very passionate about what I do, what I practice. And even though I've been away for a long time, but when I've come back, I'm hoping that it will once again help bring changes in people's lives again too. So that is what I'm hoping for. Anyway, so coming back to it, yes, there's nothing out there which that is not Ayurvedic. But then once again, taking a step back, do bear in mind sciences like Ayurveda, Yoga, Vastu, Jyotish, whatever these various, just not Vedic sciences, but all sciences. It can be Shiatsu, it can be acupressure, it can be Reiki, all these sciences, these are knowledge. And for us, where I come from, knowledge is great. Knowledge is everything. But we also say that that knowledge is of no use if you can't put it into practice. So contrary to what many people think, oh no, but Ayurveda is a bit difficult to follow because it's very restrictive. Actually, that is not correct, because it is all about making it practical, as to how you can make Ayurveda practical so that you are able to follow it in your everyday routine and lifestyle. So practical Ayurveda for everyday life. I know this is what I'm hoping my book will be called, but that is what it is. So likewise, making it practical in your everyday life is what Ayurveda is. I think someone has a question. What is Ayurvedic Dinacharya from morning to evening? Just to let you know, I have done a live chat on it in the past, and I've also done as a YouTube recording. So what I will do is, after we finish this chat, I can share that on my stories. It's Ayurvedic morning routine for you to understand and follow, because it's a very long chat. I think I must have talked for almost an hour, because if I start talking about Dinacharya morning to evening now, then we will be here from today evening until tomorrow morning. But then do bear in mind, from morning to evening, a very, very basic way of looking into it is, even during the day, we can divide a day out into the 3 doshas, because that's the best way of looking into it. That is Kapha phase, Pitta phase, and Vata phases of life, like everyday routine too. And classically, morning phase, when you wake up, is dominant in Kapha, so it's a Kapha phase. So, and hence morning times following Kapha pacifying activities, and hence that's the reason why we will exercise in the morning, we will nourish ourselves in the morning, we are physically mobile, active, and hence morning time is best for Kapha kind of reducing activities. Then come next phase is Pitta. So Pitta is usually in midday onwards and afternoon. And as the saying goes in Ayurveda, that as long as the sun is on top of our head, just the way that midday sun is really strong, likewise even our digestive fire is very strong. That means it is around that time you're doing all the Pitta pacifying activities, and that is also nourishing ourselves again to help keep that digestive fire balanced. So all kind of Pitta reducing things can be done midday till late afternoon, and then late afternoon onwards. Classically, I would say around 2-3 p.m. onwards approximately, we believe that the Vata phase begins for the daytime, like coming into the evening. So you may see that all day you've worked hard, you've been physically active. Not just, of course, us as adults, we can control our emotions or the way we react. Yes, we can, but the best examples are children. You will see that morning and afternoon time, children are happy. Then come 3-4 p.m., children, they start becoming a bit irritable. They are crying. They become impatient. Why? Because Vata is dominant in the environment and even in our bodies, and hence that irritability, that impatience sets in. So as we are going towards evening time, Vata dominates, and that kind of Vata tiredness and exhaustion sets in. And hence, as you're entering into the evening time, then the aim is to calm down, slow down, and then after that, following all Vata reducing activities. So morning is Kapha pacifying, afternoon is Pitta, and evening is Vata pacifying. So this is like a general suggestion or rule to be followed on a regular basis, even if you don't know what specifically to do for all the 3. But as we go along, I'm hoping that I might do a morning to evening Dinacharya kind of routine activity for yourselves to listen and follow. Okay, so that was the first question someone asked, and then there was another question someone asked was, what do you recommend for eyes with stones in them? I wash them with rose water, triphala, or plain water, but I can feel crustiness really deep. I've been using the Elanir eye oil. Rather than doing that, the best way of getting that is, in fact, I have shared it in today's, please go and check my stories where it says eye health in Ayurveda. It's not just about what you put into the eyes, you need movement in the eyes. So first of all, start off with eye exercises, seeing up and down. So any eye problems, not just the crustiness or irritability, it can be watering, drying, aches and pains around the eyes, or even bad vision. For that, the 3 most important things that will really help, and I promise you it will help, is doing eye exercises. So first is looking up and down a few times, then side to side a few times, then circular movement in any one direction, circular movement of your eyes opposite direction. So eye exercises first. When you do that, you may see that your eyes will start watering, which is really good because there's tiredness behind it. Once you've done your eye exercises, then trying to do Tratak meditation, which is candlelight meditation. So literally having a candle flame at arm's length and at the same level as your eyes. Then you're going to be focusing, looking at the candle flame, trying not to blink for approximately 30 seconds. Then closing your eyes and letting your eyes relax for 30 seconds. Then opening your eyes, looking at the candle flame for 30 seconds, trying not to blink. Once again, your eyes will water. Then closing your eyes. So to do that, I would say maybe for 5-6 minutes. Once you finish the candlelight meditation, then massage around the eyes. Classically, I usually say to use the Jatyadi oil. This is the oil that we sell. That is good. Or the Brahmi Amla oil is good. Or if not, ghee. That is clarified butter. And at the end of it, once you've done the eye massage around the eyes, then applying rose water eye pads on the eyes and then lying down for approximately 10 minutes. If you were to follow these 3-4 steps, then I promise you any kind of stones, crustiness that you've talked about, you will see a bigger improvement with that. Okay, I think that then, are you interested in teaching Ayurveda workshop or course in Spain? Yes, of course. This is to Maha Ayurveda. Yes, I love teaching, as you may have seen. And I do a lot of online teaching for other institutes like in Chile, in Ireland. So if you're looking for any Ayurvedic workshops to be taught by me, I'm more than happy to do it. I love it. So please do message me separately and then, we can definitely talk about it. Okay, I think I've answered everyone's questions so far. If you do have any other questions or if I've missed out, please do repost your question because I'm just going through the questions in there. Okay, so what I was talking about last was everything around us is Ayurvedic and practical. Now, the next thing that I'm going to be talking about applies to everyone. And this is one of the most important aims in Ayurveda. Do bear in mind, so people will ask, okay, fine, Ayurveda is a science from India, but what is its principle? What is it based off on? And I know when this question is asked, everyone goes off in this complete different tangent saying, oh yes, in Ayurveda, we've got body types. We need to find out what your body type is. And based on that, your foods and herbs and massages. Yes, all of that is great. But why are we looking to find out someone's body type? Why are we looking to tell them what kind of foods to eat? Like why? Why are we doing that? Understanding the why behind even assessing a person's constitution is quite important. And why? Because in Ayurveda, one of the most important aims of Ayurveda is, I know I do use the word anti-aging. I know it sounds a very kind of superficial kind of cosmetic word, but bear in mind it is not. The most important aim of Ayurveda is anti-aging because the answer lies in the word science of life. Meaning once a life is born, the aim for all of us is to live a long life. So ultimately, everything that you're doing, you will see that why is someone trying to follow a liver cleanse, a spring cleanse, autumn cleanse? Why? Or why is someone trying to find out their body type? Or why is someone trying to get rid of that rheumatoid arthritis, aches and pains? Or why is someone looking to lose weight? Or why is someone looking to get rid of uterine fibroids? Or why is someone, again, hair, why is someone trying to save their hair? Why? Why? Because ultimately we all want to live a long life. So from that point of view, in Ayurveda, we also say that dharma, as we know, dharma is duty, not just religion, but duty. Once we are born, our duty is to look after our body so that we live for a long time. And this is again for you to know that when I say live for a long time, in Ayurveda, we've got 4 ages. I'm sure everyone who's studied Ayurveda and yoga know about it. And when I say that, especially when I'm teaching in person, people have got this big stunned expression on their face. But anyway, we've got 4 ages. We've got Satyug, which is the age of truthfulness. Then you have Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug. Then we are now in the age of Kali Yug. What is age of Kali Yug? Kali Yug is nothing but Kala is darkness, Yug is age. So we are in the age of darkness. But when we say age of darkness, it's not that everything is dark around us, but there are changes happening. And based on Ayurvedic textbooks, in the age of Satyug, because everyone was honest, everyone talked about how they felt in here, their emotions, everything was transparent. And because that was the case, you will see that they didn't have anything to worry about. Their endocrine system was balanced, immune system was balanced, nervous system was balanced. These are the 3 most important systems in the body that need to be balanced and healthy for anyone to live a long life. And because that was the case, they lived for 400 years. I know I've got a big grin on my face, but it's true. people live for 400 years in the age of Satyug. But then next came Treta Yuga, that means the next age. And it is believed that that is when people started lying. So when people start lying, what happens? You feel that cardiovascular imbalance in a way. Your endocrine system goes a bit out of balance. And because of those inner changes and because people started lying, then the lifespan shortened. And then they lived only for 300 years. And it's still a long time. So imagine if you were to only lie, you live only for 300 years. And it's a joke. Anyway, but then coming the next stage, Dwapar Yuga. What happened then? People not only lied, but they also started stealing. That is how it has been put across. Imagine, you're just not there is not only an illusion from the way you speak, but there is that illusion, maya, or changes in actions, literally in actions. And when that happened, again, the lifespan shortened down to 200 years. And now we are in the age of darkness, where we believe that not only are you going to lie or steal, but you will also kill. Now, when you use the term kill, it's not just physically killing someone, but even when you make someone feel not confident, when you make someone feel not good about themselves, you are killing their inner soul. That soul that helps us to survive, that quality that says, I am, quality of ahankar, our inner nature of survival. When we insult someone, talk badly to someone, you are killing that inner drive to live. And because of that, now in this age of Kali Yuga, we believe that we're going to be living, I still say, only 100 years. So take away, if anything at all from this chat, please take away this point that in this age, we are all meant to live an average lifespan of 100 years. That means at the age of 40, I get clients, and just to let you know, I'm 49 in... we are what? And I think 4 or 5 months in December. I don't know how many months it's going to be for then, or 6 months, whatever. 6-7 months, I'm going to be 50 years old. I usually joke saying, I've done my half century. I've got another half a century to go, which I'm going to try my best to live up to. But I do get clients in their 30s, 40s where they say, oh, I feel old. And I tell them, what is wrong with you? That is an imbalance in your mind. It is not the body. At the age of 60, 70, people say, I'm old. So when I get clients who are in their 70s, I tell them, I'm really sorry, you saying old when you're only 60 is not an excuse, because according to Ayurveda, old age begins only after the age of 70, 75 approximately. That means until that point, we have to be physically active, mentally active, emotionally stimulated, emotionally excited. If someone starts thinking that they are old, then that is going to affect their mind, emotions, your hormones, endocrine system, and ultimately your immune system. And once your immune system gets affected, then everything comes to an end. Then everything is like, that one thing that rolls into the other, and then you can't stop it. So do bear in mind that one of the most important aims in Ayurveda is anti-aging. So when we say anti-aging, it is just not about looking young from the outside, but feeling young and healthy on the inside. So when we say anti-aging, do bear in mind that in Ayurveda, we give two things importance. First is quantity, and the second is quality. And if you're all listening to me, listen to this very carefully. For us to live a long life, 100 years, it's not just how many years you've lived. Quality is also important. And the best way I can explain that is, let's say if someone did live for 80, 90 or 100 years, but out of those 100 years that someone lived, if they spend 50, 60 years in a wheelchair, that is no life at all. That goes against the whole definition of science of life, So that is no life if someone was wheelchair bound for 60 years of their life. But on the other hand, it's again the same thing. Someone may have lived a very good life, but if they suddenly died at the age of 30 because of a sudden illness, once again, that is no life at all. So what Ayurveda says, you have to live for 100 years, but all those 100 years or approximately 100 years, you need to live a life of great quality. So in Ayurveda, for us, both quantity and quality, both are very important. And what I talk about now is more from like whole life itself. But how do I put that into practice? It is on our everyday life basis too. Let's say if you're going to be following any kind of, detox program, weight loss program, anything, it is just not quantity. There needs to be quality also. If you're going to be studying something, again, it is just not quantity. There has to be quality too. So sometimes you have to understand the combination of those two. It has to be quantity and quality. So that is another important bit, that in Ayurveda, one of the most important aims is anti-aging, living a long life, but a long, happy, healthy life where you're physically, mentally, emotionally happy, balanced, satisfied, and active. Very important, active, because ever since pandemic, everyone's lifestyle has changed, so the way people live life at the moment, the way I'm sat over here talking, giving this live chat, I'm sat in my place, but I've been active during the day, but everyone's life has changed. People have become more and more inactive. The more someone becomes inactive, I'm going to already tell you now, you are going to be shortening your lifespan. If you want to live a long life, become physically active every day. It is so important. It's and I'm going to digress a bit over here, but that is where we have this whole concept of pranayam or pranayama. What is, of course, pranayama, when people talk about, is breathing exercise. That is how it has been put across. And I think someone has asked a question, any book recommendation? As I was just mentioning earlier, starting off the chat, as I've said, that I'm very, very close to finishing my book. So I'm hoping that if you were to wait for a bit more, you will be able to read my book. And I'm hoping that if you like listening to what I say, then I promise you will also enjoy reading my book. Okay, so when we talk about pranayama, what is pranayama according to yoga? Prana is breath and yama is to control. That is what pranayama means. But did you know the word prana just does not mean breath? Prana also means life, and yama is to control. And hence it is believed that the way you breathe, pranayam, based on how you breathe, you will also control your lifespan. That is pranayam, life control. And breathing and life control, both of these, what is pranayam? Nothing but movement of breath in and breath out. The moment you stop breathing, life stops. Likewise, again, physically being active. It is so important to be physically active, because that is one of the things that will keep you healthy and happy for a very long time. So this is something I tell all my clients and my students. Forget doing your herbs or foods or hot water in the morning or your oil massage, oil pulling. Forget all of it. Just forget all about it. Don't even think about it. If you can, on a regular basis, go for an hour-long walk or a 30-minute physical movement activity, yoga practice. That itself is your anti-aging, if you want to call it dinacharya for the day, because that really helps to prolong life, anti-age. So that is how then we are looking into Ayurveda in terms of anti-aging, and hence for that movement is quite essential. Okay, so that was the other thing. Now I've got one or two things over here, but I also need to bear in mind how much time, because as you all know, I do talk a lot. So I'm just going to check what the time is. It is almost set 5:33, I think, over here. Okay, so just one or two more things just to quickly go through that I have written down over here, just to making sure to talk about when people talk about Ayurveda. Now the other important bit of what is Ayurveda or all things Ayurvedic, going back to basics of Ayurveda, very important. Try and live your life based on your desha. And when I say desha, it is your local geography. So based on your local geography, that is how you're going to be living your life. Why do I say that? Because based on what your local environment is, as I said earlier, you are reflecting that. And following everything, be it foods, clothing, habits, lifestyle, activity, going out, meeting people, even the way we talk and everything, literally in a way, just being adaptive to your environment around. And following that is really important, because if you were to go against your local desha, then the body is trying to fight something what it is supposed to be out there. And if you start fighting that, then once again, body starts seeing changes and imbalances. So one of the best examples I can give for this is, of course, I'm Indian, and I know I can talk about it, and I'm sure many Indians out there will also, I'm hoping, agree. I'm an Indian from India, but then now I live here in UK. And do bear in mind, where I live here in UK, London, when March comes, it is still springtime, March, April. It is still very cold. It is very windy. It keeps raining every now and then. So it is still like, a cold season out here. But then already in India at that time, it is already hot. It is starting to get hotter. And come around March, April time is when, or yeah, March time is our favorite mango season in India. You know, our Apus mango and everything. Alfonso is now talking about it. I'm thinking of it because it's already June time now. So probably in India, they've stopped selling as many mangoes as before. But anyway, so March time is when mangoes are sold in India. Everyone eats it because it is a seasonal fruit. But then thanks to the whole globalization, things coming together, our aeroplanes and transport and everything, you will see that through that we get mangoes over here in March time. And I have a lot of my Indian friends who live here, who are from India, and some of them from over here, but mostly from India. They enjoy their mangoes, but then come 4 weeks, 6 weeks after that, then they start complaining of, you know, I really don't know why I've got all these spots and boils on my face. I've been suffering from UTIs, that is urinary tract infections, and I have a lot of heat and burning in the body. And then they ultimately complain or blame it on the weather. And I tell them really nicely, I hope you don't mind, but it is already so cold over here. It is still raining, but you're eating mangoes, and mango is a fruit for a hot, tropical, humid environment. And why is it for that hot, tropical, humid environment? Is because in India, when it is summertime, we are sweating. You know, it is a time to sweat. So even if I were to have something heating, it does not matter because it makes me sweat. So it is a combination of two things. And hence all the heat is then removed out from the body. But then out here, when it is still cold, it is raining and it is windy. And if I were to have mangoes, you will see that my body, I'm not physically active either. And that heat gets accumulated in the body. And once that heat gets accumulated, then it might start traveling everywhere in the body. Might go to the head and cause migraines, might go to the bladder, cause UTIs. Then might go to the stomach, cause acidity, or come to the skin and cause boils and acne, you know, like skin ulcerations. So I try to explain that to my clients, that things need to be followed based on the weather that you live in. And hence, I understand it is a bit difficult because we all love mangoes, and I usually joke to them saying, best is then you go travel to India, enjoy your mangoes, and then come back to UK. So desha, again, desha as a term for is very important because you need to live your life based on your environment. And the more you live your life based on your environment, then you are automatically following the first rule of Ayurveda, or aim of Ayurveda is anti-aging or living for a long life, you know, as long as you are living a long life. So that is what you are ultimately, again, you know, like aiming for. So desha, so I do know that many people from India, they may have traveled to USA, I mean my family, but my friends and everyone, or over here to UK or to Germany or to Spain. So all I will say is, wherever you live, try to understand the environment, try to understand the geography, the weather, the season, and follow your lifestyles accordingly, because that is also what Ayurveda is. I think someone asked a question earlier about I'm just going to quickly check. Are you familiar with something called as livedo reticularis? If I'm not mistaken, it is something to do with discoloration of the skin or something like that. And usually I think the legs or lower extremities are affected. And if you are looking for any suggestions for that, I'm more than happy to help you out. But then probably I may need to do it separately as a private messaging, because if it is a more kind of, you know, a medical presentation for you, then I'd rather ask you some more questions, and then based on that, you know, I can give you suggestions. There is one more question that someone has asked, is what can one do for high uric acid? Do bear in mind, when we say uric acid, what is it? It is acid. And what does it lead to? It leads to inflammation. And going back to basics, when something is acidic, we need to turn it alkaline. And one of the best ways of getting rid of high uric acid from the body is focusing on a lot of greens. Like I usually say my way of making Ayurvedic warm green smoothies, or like, you know, your coriander juice, cucumber juice, trying to focus as much as possible on greens, you know, green juices. And if you already know a bit about Ayurveda, then the 2 or 3 herbs that really help with high uric acid in the body are first of all turmeric. So that is really good. Another herb called manjastha, that is also very good to get rid of any kind of acidic state from the body. So those are the 2 things to bear in mind. But going back to basic, just focus on lots of greens. Greens is really important. So best way to live a detox as feeling very sluggish. If you're looking to do a liver detox or liver cleanse, do bear in mind it is a proper 1 week long program, and you just can't do a liver detox over 2 days, 3 days, because based on our Ayurvedic principles, by the time you eat food, the way the food gets digested, then the food goes to the liver, where there's 5 different types of digestive fires that live there, that is Bhutagnis. By the time you're looking to change the status of the Bhutagnis, it does not happen over 1 day or 2 days. So you would need at least 6-7 days program as a liver detox. And if you're looking to do that, I usually run a liver cleanse program once every 4 to 6 months. It's like an online program. And if you're interested, you can definitely more than welcome to join me. And I can share details of it also later on in the chat or on the stories. What can one do with the swelling ankle and feet? It happened for the first time as I was traveling and did a lot of walking for 4 days. If you see, the answer is in your question, where it has happened for the first time and you were traveling a lot and you were walking for 4 days. Because of that excess movement and activity, it looks like or appears like you may have some lymphatic congestion, and it may happen because that is the way sometimes the body is trying to protect itself. Some very basic ways to get rid of swelling of ankles and feet, especially because of excessive walking and activity. First of all, as and when you can, just put your legs up against the wall. So just lie down on the floor from your hip onwards, legs up against the wall. That itself will help to reduce the swelling. But the other important bit for you to take is, if you can, coconut water, not lots, but some amounts every now and then. Because that will also help to get rid of that heat-related inflammation. And the other thing is a combination of ginger and lemon chutney. So make a chutney with ginger, lemon juice, then salt, tiny bit of black pepper. You can then add a bit of jaggery also to it and make like a chutney, and have half a teaspoon of that in a cup of hot water 2-3 times a day. That will also really help to get rid of any kind of swelling and swelling of the feet and water retention. So that should help. But most important is, please put your legs up against the wall, because rather than taking too much inside, sometimes it is also about understanding how you can bring changes in the body just through physical movement and activity. What is Triphala good for, and is it good for all doshas? Now, when we look into Triphala, we actually call Triphala as a cornerstone herb. Well, we call it herb in Ayurveda, but as the word goes, Phala, 3 meaning 3, and Phala meaning fruit. So it's a combination of 3 Indian berries. And again, in Ayurveda, we've got these little proverbs, like whenever in doubt. So what Ayurveda says, whenever in doubt, take Triphala every day, because in that way, it will help to get rid of any kind of toxins, accumulation of ama is what we say in the body, or inflammation too. And now the beauty of Triphala, the reason why we call it the cornerstone herb, is because it is indeed very good for all the 3 doshas. And how does it help with that? It is believed that each of those 3 herbs, let's say the first herb is called amla. It will help to reduce pitta in the body, but does not have any effect, meaning does not have any negative effects on vata and kapha doshas. The second herb is called haritaki, which helps reduce vata dosha in the body, but does not have any negative effects on pitta and kapha doshas. Last herb berry is called bhibitaki, and that will help to get rid of excess kapha dosha in the body without causing any changes in pitta and vata. And that's the reason why you will see that Triphala is one of those herbs that has been talked about the most in Ayurveda. Not only that, one of the anti-aging herbs, Rasayana herbs, is Triphala. In fact, quite some years ago, some research was done on Triphala, like a pharmaceutical lab research. And the beauty of Triphala is that they found out that Triphala has got very, very good anti-carcinogenic properties. And through research, they found out that when applied locally on any cancer tumor cells, not only did it help to stop multiplication of the cells or the tumor cells, but Triphala also helps to shrink down the tumor cells, cancer cells. And that's the reason why you will see that Triphala is also very widely used in cancer support therapy in Ayurveda. So yes, Triphala is one of those herbs where, as we say, whenever in doubt, take Triphala. I was taking Triphala and whites of my eyes turned yellow. Why did this happen? Now do bear in mind, rather than blaming Triphala itself, I'm going to put my 2 hands together and be really kind of, mindful and with complete humility and modesty. Look at my eyes. I've been taking Triphala for the longest time ever. My eyes have not gone yellow. It has nothing to do with triphala itself. Very important for you to know is the manufacturing process of the herb that you are taking. Just because someone says they're selling triphala or someone says Shatavari, Brahmi, just don't go by it, because it is us human beings manufacturing or processing these herbs in manufacturing units or workshops, or like business units, and we do not know how it was manufactured or processed. So you need to go back and understand that, because actual pure triphala, when it is properly sourced and harvested, it will not cause any yellowing of the eyes. It should not, because that is not what triphala does. So best is to go back and please look into the herb itself. Where did you buy it from? How you have sourced it, and what it is. Was I overdosing? I would not know about that, because I don't know how much you have been asked to take of triphala, and for what reason you are taking triphala. That is also very important. So please do go back and understand, get in touch with the company and ask them what their manufacturing sourcing process is. Very, very important. I know I say that because I own a company over here in London. It's called Ayurveda Pura. We just don't sell over here in UK, but it is in EU, Europe, everywhere. And for us, it is so important for me that, everything has to be pure, meaning it is a therapeutic substance. Dravya is something that will always help to get rid of one illness without creating a new one. What do you think about consuming meat, chicken and turkey, even if trying to do Ayurvedic diet? In fact, just to let you know, I had it written down on this piece of paper, but I did not have much time to talk about it. But do bear in mind, according to Ayurveda, we do not look at meat as food. For us, meat is medicine, meaning based on the environment, phase of life, even literally geography where you live, the kind of meat that you would consume will change accordingly, and why you are having it. So nothing wrong or right with eating meat, but you have to understand under what circumstances. So having said that, usually if you have too much heat in the body, inflammation in the body, and if you're used to eating meat, then the best meat is, as you've mentioned, chicken and turkey, because this is white flesh meat. Anything that is red meat like lamb, beef, pork, they won't help, because they create a lot of heat in the body. So do bear in mind that when it comes to meat, in Ayurveda, we also talk about meat soup, bone broth, like muscle soup, different types from different environments and desha, that is geography, that Ayurveda has talked about, which will help to correct certain illnesses and conditions. So just to give you an example, someone suffering from musculoskeletal imbalances, be it like weakness in the muscles, Parkinson's, facial paralysis, facial palsy, then for such people we usually say, tingling, numbness, pins and needles in the nerves. Then for them, bone broth, bone soup or meat soup really helps, because it directly helps to nourish the nerves, the bones and the muscles too. So based on what your, again, going back to body type constitution is, based on that, again, the kind of meat that you would choose will change accordingly. So Ayurveda is not purely a vegetarian or vegan science, because based on the imbalances, certain types of meats have been suggested. So talking about being vegetarian or not, yes, Ayurveda does focus a lot on following a vegetarian diet. Yes, absolutely yes. I'm not saying no to it, but it does not say no to meat. So one of the best easy ways, I remember that I even put a post up there, because there was this whole fad about going vegan and vegetarian and eating meat. A simple way of understanding those three kind of categories of, do you want to be eating meat eating category, vegetarian category or vegan category? The best way of dividing these out based on body types is, if you are predominantly Vata body type, then yes, some amount of meat will help you. But if you are a Pitta body type, then being vegetarian, bear in mind, not vegan, vegetarian, because for Pitta changes, ghee is important, buttermilk is important. When I say buttermilk, is like my type of chanch that we make, it's cooling, that is important. So certain types of sheep milk, goat milk, all of that is really good, like astringent milks to get rid of heat. But if someone has got excess kapha in the body or kapha imbalances, then yes, they can definitely go vegan, because even dairy products, including coconut milk, almond milk, they may create congestion in the body. So that is how you can best look at, being vegan, vegetarian or eating meat. You can choose accordingly. And I think this will be the last question I shall answer, because I'm just checking at the time and I do not want to feel, I've already talked for 15 minutes. So it looks like Dr. Deepa is back because I do love to talk when it comes to Ayurveda. Do you think about the current protein hype? Now see, understand that from many years ago until now, this is purely Ayurvedic. Ayurveda says that whenever you have your meal, it should be a balanced meal. And our way of looking into balanced meal is based on the 6 tastes. What are those 6 tastes? It is sweet, sour, salty, spicy, bitter, and astringent. All 6 tastes every time you have your meal. And interestingly, all these 6 tastes now can be divided out into your proteins, carbohydrate, fibers, fruits, minerals, vitamins. Amazing, how you can translate it. Now coming to the whole protein hype at the moment, I'm going to be very honest. I don't know what that exact protein hype is. But yes, some amount of protein is needed on a regular basis. But then do bear in mind what I'm going to be talking about next is just not Ayurvedic, but because I'm a medical doctor too, coming from that medical background, gastroenterology, especially gastroenterology, someone who has just a pure protein high diet may not be very beneficial because there has to be some, I'm not saying loads, but some carbohydrates, some fiber, some fruits, even some amount of sweet. When I say sweet, natural sweets, it is so important because pure protein will help your muscles. Yes, but pure protein will not help your brain. So you will see that people who are generally on very high protein diet, they will, not now, but maybe in a few years time, there will be some kind of memory lapses, feeling chaotic, confused or whatever, because for the brain or for the cerebrospinal fluid, we need glucose. Glucose is so important, and hence you will see, of course, me coming from my medical background, that when people had any kind of accidents and emergencies related thing, we are giving, of course, saline solution internally, but sometimes glucose solution was also given to help bring back balance into the body. So whenever having your meals, make sure that you have all of it. And this is again what I'm going to say, going back to the first point that I started off in the beginning, that we live life only once. And that once living life, yes, if I went on a very high protein diet, high carbohydrate diet or whatever, you know what? I'm restricting my experiences, I'm restricting my memories. Yes, yes, I may go on this high protein diet all my life because someone said, oh, that is really good. But then when I'm 70, 80 years old, I'm there, or no, 100 years old, because that is how long I plan to live. I'm lying on my deathbed and thinking, oh gosh, I wish I could have had that carbohydrate related food. I wish I would have had rice or chapatis. I love rice, by the way. That's my most favorite food. And I'm lying there yogically on my deathbed with that desire. And if my soul is going to be leaving my body with that desire, my soul will have to come back, be reborn, because it has to complete that desire, fulfill it. So my suggestion is enjoy life, but at the same time, do not go into any extremes. Everything has to be in moderation and enjoying everything that comes along. And likewise with protein diet too. Yes, if you want to follow a high protein diet for a week, do that. But then give a short break of including other foods too, because there's so many parts in the body that need some glucose, some carbohydrates, some oils, some naturals, like sugars. So the body needs that too. So it is a combination of all of it all together. Okay, I think I'm done for today because it's almost 6 o'clock. I hope you've enjoyed today's chat. I know it was a very kind of random chat from out of nowhere. I thought I'll just talk all things Ayurvedic, and if anyone had any questions, I would answer those. And just to let you know, talking about all things Ayurvedic, I am running an introduction to Ayurveda workshop on the 7th of July. It is either in person over here in London, but the same thing is going to be done online too, so online or in person. So if you've enjoyed what I've talked about today, then please do look up for that workshop, because then I'll be talking about everything about Ayurveda in much more detail. So that is the other thing. And the two other important bits are, I'm planning to start doing Sunday morning live chats again, along with Wednesdays too. And on Saturday morning also, I'm going to be doing a live chat, but from my company related Ayurveda Pura platform. And then I'm going to be talking about, our product. I've thought I'll call it Product Spotlight, because Ayurveda Pura, my company, has so many various products to offer, but sometimes I feel that not everyone knows about it. So I'm going to be talking about one product every Saturday morning, so that you'll have some information of what it is. And if you ever wanted to use them, you would have, as I say, like informed knowledge based on that, you can go ahead and purchase our products. Okay, so have a great day, great evening on your side, at least over here in UK, and anyone else from everywhere else, have a good night and a good day on your side. And I shall be in touch again. Okay, have a good day. Bye.